I opened my eyes to a breathtaking night sky, adorned with a blanket of sparkling stars. The chilly air sent shivers down my spine, and I found myself disoriented, unsure of my location. I glanced to my right and then to my left, only to feel the frigid snow beneath my head, emitting a crunching sound with each movement. Attempting to sit up using my elbows, I winced as pain coursed through my body. My surroundings became more apparent, with a dense forest surrounding me, indicating I must be deep within its depths. My breath billowed out like steam in the icy air, causing my fingers to ache. Propped up on my hands, I couldn't help but wonder why I was here, stranded in the woods. A glance down at my attire left me utterly bewildered. I was dressed in an odd outfit, featuring a short pleated black and yellow skirt, short white socks, and white shoes, accompanied by a matching top bearing the words "Tops Cheerleaders." The question that echoed in my mind was, who were the Tops cheerleaders? It felt as though I had been plunged into a bizarre dream or a nightmarish trap. My hands throbbed with pain, not solely from the cold. Cuts with dried blood adorned my right hand. Suddenly, a voice in my headset instructed me to relax, close my eyes, and recollect what had transpired before this surreal moment. I struggled to remember, but initially there was nothing but darkness. My head throbbed with frustration, compelling me to open my eyes. In a peculiar twist, I found myself inside a moving vehicle. The next time I opened my eyes, I was seated at the back of this vehicle, which resembled a compact bus. All of the girls on board were dressed identically to me in cheerleader outfits, engaged in animated conversations. I noticed an empty seat next to me and stared out of the front window, where the bus's headlights illuminated a snow-covered road flanked by trees. In the distance, lights from houses beckoned. The bus driver slowed down and pulled over to the side, allowing around 4 girls to disembark and make their way toward a nearby house. As the door closed and we resumed our journey, this pattern repeated several times. Gradually, the bus became emptier, with only 1 girl remaining at the back with me. I couldn't recall her name, and her face seemed unfamiliar, as if I were trapped in a bewildering memory puzzle. It felt as if I were trying to piece together what had led me to this mysterious forest. Suddenly, I opened my eyes once more, still enveloped by the cold woods. The eerie silence was broken by a distant sound, causing me to strain my ears. Yet there was nothing to be heard. Then, a voice in my head advised me to close my eyes once more. Meanwhile, on the other end, the minibus negotiated a bend among the trees, revealing a car parked sideways on the road with its hood raised. A man stood in the road, frantically waving to catch our attention. The bus slowed down, and the driver cautioned us to stay put while he went to investigate. He donned a green jacket with the hood up to shield himself from the falling snow and exited the bus, closing the door behind him. As I pondered these events while propped up on the cold ground, I noticed the cuts on my right hand with dried blood. A sense of confusion and unease hung heavily in the air. My mind raced with questions about why I was dressed in this bizarre outfit in the middle of the forest at night, with the added distress of my injured hands. I redirected my attention to my memories, guided by a voice in my head that urged me to close my eyes and concentrate. I complied, and my mind started to piece together the fragmented puzzle. I found myself back on the bus, with the girl behind me. We both gazed out the window as the driver interacted with the man on the road next to the disabled car. I reopened my eyes, still in the wintry woods, and felt compelled to listen for any signs of life. However, darkness prevailed, punctuated only by the gentle descent of snowflakes through the trees. Closing my eyes once more, I returned to the bus, passing the stranded car with its hood raised. I remembered the girl behind me, named Sarah. Memories slowly resurfaced, and I began to grasp the situation. I saw distant house lights on the left side, and Sarah mentioned something about her stop before preparing to leave. She informed the driver, but he remained unresponsive, and instead of stopping, the bus accelerated and passed her house. A sharp left turn onto a rough road marked the beginning of a terrifying ordeal. I realized that this was not the driver we knew. He was older, with a scar running from his eye to his nose and dark hair. He turned back to us, his hood concealing his face, and yelled, sending shockwaves through the bus. In my state of confusion, I attempted to comprehend the unfolding chaos. Suddenly, I found myself back in the snowy woods, my hands aching and cuts on my right hand stinging. The memories were returning in fragments, and I closed my eyes once more. The bus was now slowing down, its headlights revealing a narrow path that appeared outgrown and peculiar. The bus was buffeted by bushes on both sides, scraping against the front window. The driver stood up and instructed us to stand as he moved toward Sarah. He grabbed her arm, frightening her, and slapped her hard. A wave of terror washed over us, but I kept shouting for him to stop. He turned to face us, revealing a knife in his hand, intensifying our fear. Abruptly, I opened my eyes, halting the painful recollection. I examined my legs and discovered them covered in cuts and scratches, evidence of the horrifying ordeal. I was exhausted, unable to stand any longer, and settled on the cold snow beneath a massive tree, realizing that the man had used the knife on my legs. Questions swirled in my mind. Why had he done this? Where was Sarah? Most crucially, where was the real bus driver? I closed my eyes once more, retracing my memories. The bus was slowing down, and its headlights illuminated a narrow path, surrounded by overgrown bushes that scraped against the vehicle. The driver ordered us to stand, and he moved toward Sarah, grabbing her arm. He slapped her, sending shockwaves through the bus. In my attempt to intervene, I opened my eyes, still trapped in the snowy woods, my body aching. As I sat there, I heard a faint noise in the woods, prompting me to look around cautiously. The darkness was impenetrable, with only a few snowflakes gently landing on branches and the ground, emitting soft sounds. I closed my eyes once more, determined to unearth the missing pieces of this bewildering puzzle. The bus continued along the narrow path, its headlights revealing a small wooden building nestled close to the ground. The driver stood up, instructing us to stand. He approached Sarah, grabbed her arm, and slapped her, terrorizing us. I remembered the fear that had gripped us as the bus veered off the path, and I closed my eyes once more. Suddenly, my surroundings shifted. I found myself on a couch in a dimly lit, modern room, with a woman and a sheriff seated nearby. They explained that a hunter had discovered me wandering in the woods early that morning. The police had received a report of a man who had been stabbed and found dead near his car on the road. He had been leaning into the engine compartment with the hood raised. On that same night, 2 girls had been reported missing, and while the man remained unaccounted for, they had located Sarah. She had been severely injured and tormented in a wooden building, her life forever altered. My thoughts were a tangled web of confusion and helplessness as I grappled with the reality of my situation. Why had I been on that bus with those girls? This traumatic experience instilled in me a deep-seated fear of alcohol, even its mere scent triggering anxiety. Had I not been under the influence, I might have made more informed decisions, potentially preventing the horrors that befell Sarah and the fate of our original bus driver. Most importantly, I yearned for a functional memory that could unravel the enigma of that fateful night.